Right, hi and welcome back. So, been a long time since I've done any filming, but I'm going to try and get back into this. So, I've got a Suzuki LT50 two-stroke quad, kids quad. It's one of my friend's son's quads. It's just not running right. It's struggles to start, sometimes cuts out, does the normal stuff when they've not been used for a while. He's also saying it's not quite as fast as he wants it to be. So we're going to de-restrict it, get it running right, and yeah, just generally look over it, make sure it's all good. But the main bit of this video is just de-restricting it and getting it running right. So I've already got the carb off it. Did that before I started filming, but yeah, I'll show you how to put it back on, and it's super easy to get off. But then we're going to look at de-restricting it. So this is the intake for the carb. This is the carb, and basically this fits together like so, and then onto the engine. Super easy. But one of the first jobs is LT50s from factory are restricted normally. This is the restrictor plate. Basically, air comes in and fuel comes in through here, comes around the U, and then down and into here, and then directly into the engine. And what this bit does is basically restricts the airflow. So you can see in the circle in the centre, if you take that out, you get the full circle, loads more air. If you get loads more air, you can get loads more fuel, loads more power. So super easy. So we're going to get that out. We're then going to de-restrict the carb. This has got an extra jet in it. Basically, it's a jet on top of a jet. The top jet is the smallest aperture, and basically it just restricts the fuel. Alright, you got your manifold on the engine. You've undone this screw with a flathead or a 10mm spanner, and you've slid the carburetor off. Now you've got screw A and screw B to change right next to the throttle cable, not change, to remove. So they shouldn't be too tight. These ones I have already loosened them, but you unscrew them, put your film over the top and bottom of the carb, so you just hold it together, and then what you can do is just slide it apart and it all comes out like so. Keep your screws safe, and you can either leave this bit dangling here and no harm will come to it. You're just going to slide it in after you've done your job, or if you want to remove that, you have to do is push against the spring, flick the cable to the side, and then it just slides out like that. There is a little plastic bit inside and the needle, so you need to keep those safe. Spring down, and then just pull the cable out. And that's the full carburetor removed from the quad. Right then, so plastic tubs for all the spare parts. One of the reasons this carb is clogged up is the air filter had a nice little hole in it. So there's one of them on order, so that'll arrive. These are the plastics that just come on the end of the carburetor like so, on the engine. Air filter goes inside, but we'll be getting some new parts for that as well. So we've got that to de-restrict and this. So let's crack on. We'll de-restrict this first. It's probably should be the toughest part for most people, I reckon. So you're going to need a big screwdriver to sit in the slot, a pair of mould grips, vice grips, or a vice, whichever you've got. Piece of aluminium just to try and protect my worktop a bit, because we're going to use a blowtorch. You can also use a heat gun if that's what you've got. And what we're going to do is just warm up the outer edge until this bit becomes loose. Moving it around the outside. You actually see there's a gap starting to form, I think. Appears to be. So Small grips, screwdriver. You see how loose that is? Oh. It is coming, it's just the angle I'm doing it at is stupid. With this screwdriver, I'm just fighting it until you just unscrew it and it comes out. There you go. Right, once you're happy you've got everything clean enough, carburetor time. So you've got your choke lever and your throttle cable mount. That can all stay in that tub. I'm going to take the air filter off the end, 2 screws inside. This you don't strictly need to take it off, but I'm just getting it out of the way so I can have a good look, see if there's anything I want to have a look at or fix. So just simple, a plate, 2 screws that holds the end of the air filter on. That's that. Right, float bolt time, 4 screws, 1, 2, 3 and 4 on the end of it. Just whip that off. These shouldn't be too tight, but make sure you've got a good fitting screwdriver. Three and 4. They're out. Screws into the box, and then we see what state it's in inside. Now, if this is the first time you've been in a carb, put all the screws nice and safe in individual boxes so you know exactly where everything goes. I've done it enough times to remember. Gasket you can just tease off, really tease it, don't rip it. Might be worth getting you a new one, but you don't, again, strictly need it. So in this carb already we've got some dirt in the bottom of it. That's going to need cleaning out and removing, which is also why we're in here. So in the bottom of the carb, these are quite common for leaking. So you've got your float and then your jets. So there's a piece of plastic rubber that seals at the bottom of this one. You need to keep that safe as well. So you need a small screwdriver, flat blade, check it fits. But this is the jet here, so it's where the float is. Can you see it? This little one here, so under here. So you take the top one out, and underneath the top one once you unscrew it, there you go. So that's one jet, and underneath, so I've got one jet in my hand, and underneath the one jet is the other jet. So basically this one's smaller than this one and restricts the amount of fuel it's going to get. So if you're de-restricting it, you get rid of the top one. If you're not de-restricting it, you clean them and you put it back in. So you need a socket, which is a 8mm, to take out the main jet. I'm taking these out so I can clean them. To de-restrict it alone, you don't need to. And you see how loose that was, which is good. And then, yeah, just to clean. And then if you look through it into the light, that one is completely blocked solid. So we need to clean that as well. And you're going to take out the little jet in the bottom. So, yeah, small screwdrivers to make life a lot easier. So this is the jet that was under the other jet. So we're taking that one out as well. And again, you look into the light and pretty fine. It's a fine jet, but it's got some debris in there as well. Let's take the float valve out as well. So that one is a 10mm, and that comes out from the top. Like so. And then if you want to take the valve itself out, you have to slide, you see, there's a little clip that you slide outwards. It comes out this way and it allows, let's do it. There's a little washer as well, little seal. So, I'll do it. Not stabbing myself in the finger, yeah. So it goes out to the side like so. And then I popped it back in. My own camera. So you have to tease it out nice and gently. There we go. And put it in my hand. So there's the float valve, there's a little spring clip, and then here's its housing. That will give a clean as well. Make sure they all seat properly. And so the float stays in because it's pinched. The pivot's pinched, so you can't do anything with it. I think I'll take out the air screw as well. I'm going to see where it's at as well. So it's top. So it is one. There's one screw out at the moment. So I'll take that all the way out. There should be a spring under here. There we go. So spring and screw out the side of the carb, so that's out. I'm also going to take out this one, just so we can give everything a good clean, and that was 3. Yeah. That was a long way out, that's too far out. We'll put that back to standard, and again, another valve, another needle and the spring. So the Phillips head one was in the front and the flathead one in the rear of it. And that is basically all we need to remove and clean. All you have to do, get all the carb parts, get them scrubbed good and proper, get an airline or a computer compressed air canister, blow through all the jets, make sure they're all squeaky clean. Avoid using anything sharp. Paintbrushes, things like that work well. Don't use wire, brass bristles or anything like that. You don't want to scratch it, you just want to clean it. It shouldn't really take that much scrubbing. The main bits, make sure all the jets are clean, all the seating areas are clean, and it's nice and easy. Right, once you've got all your parts clean, so that's all the carb parts clean that need to be clean. And clean this top, the slider as well. But I'll do that after. I'm going to reassemble the carb so I can get rid of all these pieces. So, first thing I'm going to put it back in is the float level jet. So remember your washer, make sure your needle moves. Screw it in gently, lift the float up a little bit. If Amazon can disappear, that'd be great. And it's just a nip. Everything in a carburetor is normally just a nip. It is not super tight. Spring and jet going back in. This is the Phillips, the crosshead one, so it goes at the front. Then the next one, again spring. This one was one turn out, so I'll set it as one turn out. one full turn out. This one I've put all the way in. It was quite a long way out to start with. So let's go 1, 2. Let's go 1.5 for now. And I'll set that up later. Right, jets to go back in. So this one, make sure you can see through them, make sure all the holes are clean and nice before you put it in. Everything needs to be spotless. Once it's in, just a nip. Smallest jet, and as we're de-restricting it, like we said, we're not putting the other one in, so this one goes in this hole. Again, you need to make sure it's clean and see-through. Again, screw it in. And just a nip, no more than that. And that's that. So, that is that, all together. A little bit of gummy, rubber.
Yeah, you don't need to fit this gummy anymore, it's not required, so just leave it out once you've removed it.
And then your seal, make sure you get it the right way. It can only go on one way, so if you get it wrong, congratulations. Then top, again, make sure it's nice and clean. You've got all your dirt out of it, and it's how you want it. Slot it on, and again, it just drops into place. The 4 screws around the edge. There's 1, and that's 2. 3. And 4. Again, just a nip. There we go. Right. Last but not least is the drain from the carb. There we go. And now you've got the carb all built up the bottom end. Your hose can go back on if you want. Before that, what I'm going to do is if you blow in through the fuel inlet, when it's in the vertical position, it will let some air pass. It's quite a small carb, so it's not a huge amount of air, but you'll be able to feel and hear you can blow some air in it. If you lift it up like this, the float will close and the valve will shut and the air should stop. If the air doesn't stop, the float valve, you've done it wrong or it's not sealed correctly. So quite simple, just bolt it back on. I had a stuck bolt in here, but it did actually just wind out by hand. Took about 30 seconds off camera to do so. Screw this down, nice and easy. Job done. And then it'll just be a little nip. There we go. Right, then we can put the carb back on. You can also, while we're in here, check the fuel lines and breathers, any hoses, make sure there's no air leaks while you're here. Because if you have, it's going to run like crap. And the spring. That's what we're going to do. Throttle cable through this first. Make sure you're not going to lose your screws. throttle cable through the choke plate. This gasket is quite important to make sure it's sealed for air, so make sure you've got that on and it's not split. So throttle cable through, then the spring, you have to push the spring all the way as far as you can to the top and hold it. So you do this, and then just hook it in, spring down all the way, there we go, and that's that in place. Carburetor, line it up so this short slide, it goes 90 degrees to the carb and lines up with this pin, and it just slots in like so, nice and easy. Make sure your choke's in place like so, and then just sit it down and put your screws in. Now we just need to wiggle it back into its hole. Again, that through there. Fuel hose over the top. Make sure you get your throttle cable in the right place as well, that'd help. My head's probably in the way. There we go, wiggle it in. And just nip up your screw with the clamp. There we go, and that's that all reinstalled. Fuel hose can go back on. Right, it's time for first start now, since we rebuilt the carb. So it's completely dry fuel, so let's get some fresh unleaded in it, E5 fuel. So, 2 litres of fuel in it. Right. Fuel. A few times. Right, let's check for leaks. Still got this tread plate off. Right, no sign of leaks. Choke on. So I've just turned the idle down. I'm going to let it warm up. You don't need to see this all. But I'm going to let it warm up to operating temperature before I try and adjust anything, and then I'll do some tuning on it. Right then, so I've turned it around, put it on a stand, and now she's fully up to operating temperature. She's idling really well, but now I need to adjust the fueling. This flat bladed screw is for idle, and this one is fuel mixture. So all this idle screw does is adjusts how high the slider is in the carb, letting more fuel in, more air in, etc. More air equals more fuel. And then this one is your adjuster for fueling. So we have to do a combination of both to make it idle and rev correctly. If you do the fuel, chances are you have to just tweak the idle just to make it rev nice. Stay idling nice because you've adjusted the fueling. So let's fire it back up and go for it. Idling quite good. So let's go out a little bit, go quarter of a turn out to start with and see where that goes. Just the idle down a tiny bit. This feels a long way out this screw already. So as soon as I go in, it sucks out, but it seems a long way out for me.
Might be able to hear here is it takes off fine at low revs, but when you get to full throttle it bogs down. So after this road test, I noticed that at full throttle we ran out of fuel. So what we done, take the carb back off, take the top choke slider out, the right of the top, and drop the spring clip on the needle all the way to the bottom, which raises the needle up in the carburetor, giving it more fuel at the top end when the throttle's on full. Putting it all back together, and then basically we repeat the tuning steps from before, just trying to get that as sweet as possible and get the full fuel at the top end as well.
Right then, so we're finished with the quad. You saw in the last video of it running, riding around the garden pretty good. It's not bad, it's got some good power. So I've changed the spark plug in it. So the standard spark plug for one of these is a BPR4HS from NGK. So it's a 4 heat range. And then we've gone to, on this one, the Bosch equivalent of a 5 spark plug. So this one is a WR7BC plus plug, and that's the equivalent to the BPR5HS NGK plug, but this is in Bosch. And it's just one heat range colder to work better with the more power we've hopefully got out of the engine. As for fueling, it's running good now. It took a while to get it right. So the fuel needle is dropped as is raised as high up as it can be in the carburetor on the main jet. So the circlip's in the bottom, the lowest clip on the needle, and then on the mixture adjustment on the carb, it's 1 turn out, and that's it. And it's running really good. It's smooth. It's got power all the way through. So yeah, when I was first trying to tune it, I was way too far out on the mixture screw. I think I was at like 2.5 turns, and it was just bogging, and just wasn't happy. And now it's all the way in at one turn, and it's idling good. It's running good. Yeah, ticks over nice, and power all the way through all the rev range. So happy days. If you've got any questions, just let us know. Thanks for watching.